What's up, guys, and welcome to this. This is your New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 35 2025 Night 1 show review. I'm your host LK from the SOS Wrestletalk. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, drop a comment, and smash that subscribe button. As always, down in the comments, give us your thoughts and opinions on the first night of this tournament. First of 19 grueling nights. The show that you finished about 5 minutes ago aired on NJPW.com. Go subscribe, no affiliation at all, no kickback, it's just how I watch the damn thing. If you live in the UK, there is a way to save cash. Okay, now again, I get no kickback. If you sign up on the website, right, so again, this is UK only, doesn't affect Americans. So if you sign up on the UK website and you sign up on the actual browser on a computer, you then pay $9.99 a month. If you do it on your phone, you pay £9.99 a month. So actually, it only costs me exactly £8 a month to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling live on demand in beautiful HD quality with English commentary, rather than $9.99. So I save $1.99 a month. That's what, £14 a year? I get a free month and a half. Come on. So with that in mind, let's get on to this show. Very excited. Been looking forward to this for quite some time. Oh, it's been a while. So, G1 Climax Night 1, 19th of July 2025. Opening match of the tournament, we had YOSHI-HASHI going one-on-one with Shingo Takagi. So our main man, YOSHI-HASHI, been a big fan of his for quite some time now. He defeated Chase Owens in a replacement match for his tag partner Hirooki Goto, the former IWGP heavyweight champion, following his injury. So it's really nice to see YOSHI-HASHI involved here. We've been big fans on the channel of YOSHI-HASHI for quite some time. Really big fans. Him and Goto as a tag team, but specifically more singles run, especially a couple years ago. The guy was always be in the G1. He'd always come with his Gandalf stick. And here he is with his Gandalf stick. I like as well how winning the block this year, on a side note before I get down to breaking down the match, if you win your block, you go straight into the semi-finals. If you come second and third, you then face off in quarter-finals action, which puts more emphasis on how winning the block is a lot more important. But the actual match here, so big offensive moves from the get-go, no slow build. That's the joys of having these 10 matches on this show, all block action. Obviously, as we get to a night 3, it's only 5 matches A block, and then Thursday is 5 matches B block, so it's split up fairly. Shingo goes for the chasing the dragon. YOSHI-HASHI with a crucifix bomb gets the win. My fist went in the air. It was under 5 minutes, what a normal Young Lion match would be, or an opening 6-man tag at the Korakuen Hall. But just seeing a big win over someone like Shingo, and I'm not expecting, I'm not going to come on here and say now I think YOSHI-HASHI's going to go on to win the fucking G1 Climax or even qualify for further rounds. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just so fucking great to see somebody's been there for 10 plus years. I mean, I've been watching the guy as Dion for 10 plus years, and it's so great to see him get a big win like that, because he's former IWGP tag team champions with Hirooki Goto, even the strong tag team champions, but a big win there is just great, and it just starts off the tournament in a really good way. Starting the tournament off with me putting my fucking hands in the air, that's a good way to start. So YOSHI-HASHI is on 2 points, Shingo Takagi is on 0. So tomorrow Shingo will be wrestling, or should I say on the 20th of July, on night 2 we'll be wrestling Great Khan, and YOSHI-HASHI will be having an easy win against Ren Narita. So starts the night of upsets. And then we had Evil versus Callum Newman. So you go from having this really fulfilling, satisfying feeling in your body after having a YOSHI-HASHI victory, to then be depressed when you hear the dong 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 dong. Oh, is there anything worse than hearing that? Honestly, Callum Newman's also coming off an IWGP Championship match against Goto earlier in the year when he was champion. So something good to build on. Evil part of the House of Shit. Evil has Finlay and Dick Togo with him. Finlay grabs on the commentary on this one, and he goes, "I'm only here for the fucking food, man." And I thought that was just really good, really funny, really funny. So then the usual bullshit. Evil attacks pre-bell, using the t-shirt, using the rope. Other members of the House of Shit get involved. And I want to state on here, I know Dion Light was a massive LIJ fan, and Dion, if you're new to the channel, it's your first time checking out, this channel is both myself and Dion. He will be covering, he might even do a night one review himself, but we'll be covering it together at some points. It's just obviously I live in the UK, he lives in America, we've got different schedules, different work schedules, so basically we both jump on when we can together, and we do single stuff. So we're a tag team at heart, we're a faction. Yes, SOS Wrestletalk faction, but we're also singles competitors. So he's obviously a big LIJ fan. Obviously they've disbanded and Naito and everyone else is gone. Amen to that, brother. I'm joking, I love Naito, I miss him a lot. They could have done with him in the fucking G1. So I haven't liked Evil since then. I've never liked him. And I'm proud to say, unfortunately, back in the day when we had the channel where we grew quite, we had triple the amount of subscribers we had now when we were back in the day. But we're going to get back there. When they shut our channel down, because we got copyright strike by New Japan. Isn't that funny? We were one of the main ones covering the channel, and they struck us down. But we're back. So I've always hated him, and seeing him in a faction where everyone hates him does bring a sense of fulfillment to my heart. It's not just me now who hates the chap. So after several minutes of pure torture, Newman then gets pumped up. He takes out the dick and the food fucker Finlay. Newman then hits a double stump off the top, then hits a firebolt for a good near fall. Sakamoto, the ref, he takes a bump. I love Sakamoto Days on Netflix. By the way, just putting that out there now. I'm not a big fan of anime. I'll watch them every now and then if I'm bored on like a Sunday afternoon or what have you. And I came across Sakamoto Days and I thought it was fucking great anyway. So then Dick and food fucker Finlay, they take out Newman. Evil then applies Darkness Scorpion. He gets the win. Evil on 2 points, Newman on 0. Great. Newman will wrestle Tanahashi tomorrow, and Evil will wrestle Yota Tsuji tomorrow. Match is alright. Wasn't as good as the opener, but you're just sick of the whole. As soon as Evil comes out, you just know ref bump, and then you get fucking food fucker Finlay and the dick Togo, who gets involved, and sometimes you have the Narita come out, and it's fucking boring. It's enough now, and they add so many members to it. It's kind of like the end. Yeah, I wouldn't even compare it or have it in the same breath as the NWA, because at least the NWA was over at one point. Then we had Drilla Moloney making his G1 Climax debut, taking on the Great Okan. So Drilla Moloney beat Ishii to qualify, and I don't know how I feel about it. On one hand, I'm like, that's great, because Drilla Moloney is very talented. He's worked hard. He's got an incredible shape. He's gone from junior to heavyweight division. It's believable, similarly to Ospreay. But Ishii is Ishii, man. It doesn't feel right having a G1 Climax tournament without him. And I hope he's not hanging up the boots. Hopefully he's just in America living the dream or something. But it is a shame that he's not in this tournament. And if he does bow out, I hope he does have, like Tanahashi has, where it's announced, like what Tenzon had, like what Kojima had, where they had it announced as this is their final G1. Maybe that's what they're saving him for next year. So this was a pretty good match. Also, like saying how, hearing Chris Charlton saying, the tournament is, so grueling and hard on the body, difficult for many athletes to finish. Stuff like that really makes it feel legitimate. Drilla then ties up Okan's hair in the barricade, goes for the count-out victory, but Okan escaped. Good strike exchange. Okan with his Tenzon style Mongolian chops, and then Drilla hits him back with stiff chops of his own. Okan hits the Tenzon tombstone driver for a 2, which is pretty brutal landing. Okan then goes for the eliminator using his Michael Jackson glove, but Drilla counters with a gore for 2. Moloney then hits the Drilla killer to get the win, which is basically a Ron Simmons dominator into a spiked pile driver. Match started slow, nice build, hot finish, respectable outing from both men. Nothing that's going to be like, I'm not going to be like, I recommend this, you must watch it. I'm going to say it was a good match. Wouldn't skip it, but if you're short on time, feel free to. So B Block Moloney now on 2 points and Okan stuck on 0. Drilla will be facing Umino tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that one. That could be a very good match. And Okan will be facing Shingo. Battle of 0 points. Again, that even should be quite fun. Then we had Yuya Uemura in A Block taking on Boltin Oleg, who is the Never Open champion. This match was meant to take place last year, but Uemura obviously tore his tricep, so they're kind of getting to rerun that here in the opening night. Oleg obviously is the Never Openweight champion after he defeated Konosuke Takeshita at Dominion, which is a really good show. And I'd love to see this for the belt, man. I would. This is someone I can really get behind. I'm a big fan of Yuya Uemura. Think he's very talented, but then I love Boltin Oleg. And again, we're at the point now where obviously Okada's gone. Ospreay's gone. Naito's gone. For all intents of purposes, we'll say Tanahashi's gone. You know, that's your main event guy's gone. You know, Sanada's doing Sanada things. Goto's injured. You kind of left with Zack Sabre Jr., Shingo. Don't know who else you kind of got left. Apologies. I'm going to cough again. Apologies once again. I am so unprofessional. I should have paused that. And if that just literally burst your eardrums, I can only apologise. There's no way to pause. Oh, there is a way to pause. Sorry, I'm not the most technical guy here. Back to my notes anyway. Yeah, so seeing guys like Uemura, Oleg, Tsuji, David Finlay, Oiwa, all these guys kind of come up. It's really important. Shota Umino, ERP. This is a G1 for them to step up. You know, if you're a wrestler in the back out there, you should be looking at this, seeing the field of so many young guys. Maybe that's why it's good that Ishii's in there, but you got to have these young guys have to go against experience to be able to get better. But anyway, Gabe Kidd, this is a chance to build, and I hope when we get to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, that we're left with a field of, so there's going to be 6 wrestlers advancing to the quarterfinals. I hope we have at least 4 or 5 of them as some of these young guys, because they really need to build them with all those top talented guys gone for kind of star power. And again, this is the first time in the show this has felt like a proper New Japan matchup. Some amateur wrestling to start off. Oleg hits this really big scoop slam. You basically threw him halfway across the ring. There's some strike exchanges. They're pretty savage. And then Uemura hits a German. Oleg no-sells. He hits a crazy lariat. Oleg then goes for a cradle bomb. Uemura though counters that into a arm-hooked belly-to-belly to get the win. Finish was really strong. Really strong. Good match. I'd like that for the title, and I'd like it 10 minutes longer. Uemura then on 2 points. Oleg on 0. So tomorrow we have Uemura against Taichi. That should be a good match. And Oleg versus Oiwa, which should be, again, a very good match. And then we had B Block. We have Shota Umino going 1-on-1 and against... Right, so we have B Block. We have Shota Umino going 1-on-1 with El Phantasmo. ELP, you got to give it to this man. So since last year, he's beaten cancer and he's won the New Japan World TV Championship, which is, what a story. So it's really good for him. And it's, if you told him this a year ago that he'd be, wrestling in the G1, it'd probably be, he'd probably think that's absolutely amazing, so it is really good for him. And this one started off really good, awesome, opening back and forth. They have a strike battle, and they did that spot where they go forearm chop back and forth with each other, and the crowd was silent, and it sounded really brutal. ELP then hits a tope suicida, and then does the whole Rob Van Dam, but in ELP hand motion, and the crowd went along with it. It's really great to see. And El Phantasmo, man, if you're talking 5 years ago, the guy was like such a big heel. He was a proper knobhead. Him and Ospreay when they had that beef over in America. So much heat was on ELP, and it's absolutely crazy that he's now getting them to chant along his name. So good for him. He then hit the CR2 for a good near fall. ELP then misses the splash off the top, and then Umino hits a running Shining Wizard for a near fall, and then Umino with the second chapter gets the win. Good match again. Not amazing, but still good. This is a 19-night tour, so I'm not expecting 5-star classics for all 10 matches. But this was decent. Umino with 2 points now, and ELP on 0. This was a good match, and if we see this for the New Japan World TV title, if they ever want to build that up, then I'm for it. Umino has Drilla Moloney on night 2, and ELP has Takeshita. So that should be fun. Then we have A block. We have Ryohei Oiwa against David Finlay. So Oiwa from TMDK, Finlay from Bullet Club War Dogs. And again, as I said, this is a big chance here for New Japan to build Finlay to this next level. He's on this kind of losing run, which we'll get to. And he's coming out. He's not looking as pumped up and aggressive as he normally is. Simply because obviously he keeps losing. He's lost quite a lot of big matches recently, so it must be psychologically breaking him down. So Finlay in control from the get-go. I liked Oiwa shouting "fuck you," and then there's a big double clothesline over the top. Finlay with he hits a shoulder tackle onto Oiwa. He went through the barricade door and landed on the concrete, and that's not a bump you want to take on the first night of a 19-day tour. That really isn't. Finlay then hit a really nice Irish Curse backbreaker. Oiwa's back is red with swelling already. He's going to have a terrible night's sleep tonight. Japan time as of this recording is probably the show finished half an hour ago. So he's probably getting in the car, all bad bruised in the coach, and he's going to have a horrible night's sleep tonight. Oiwa though hits Chaos Fury for 2. And then after they kept teasing the discus lariat, and they kept teasing it, and then he got hit it 1, 2, 3, boom. So in TMDK he got Zack Sabre Jr. as the world champion. Fajita won Best of Super Juniors this year, so it's really important for Oiwa to kind of keep up with them. So he needs a good G1 for his character, and he got off with a big win here. Made sense booking wise, because obviously Finlay's taking those losses. So why not put him against a guy who needs a big win? And I'm not saying David Finlay's a massive name to tick off your list, but still a name. And then we had B block. Oh, apologies. Oiwa will be wrestling Oleg, as you guys know. Then we have B block. We have Gabe Kid. Hopefully YouTube doesn't cancel it because I said the word gay. But it is Gabe. Apologies in English. Gabe Kid against Konosuke Takeshita. I'm not going to start calling them that. All right. I'm synonymously known for nicknames. Like Hash Brown is YOSHI-HASHI. Food Fucker Finlay. Loads of names. I will not be calling him Gay Kid. Just to confirm. And this match here, if you said that Takeshita, and you were sat in front of me and you said, in my opinion, Takeshita's the best wrestler in the world, I would shake your hand and say, valid opinion, sir, move on. I would. I honestly think if, lots of, especially because social media's changed so much, lots of, discussion about who the GOAT is and who the best in the world is, and it's you got to put his name up there. You know, the guy has great matches in New Japan. He has great matches in AEW. I haven't seen him wrestle in DDT for a while, but when I have, I've always been impressed. And it's kind of one of those where he really could be one of the best in the world. And Gabe Kidd heading into this one as a global champion, if you know New Japan well enough, you can know where this is going. Whenever, obviously, if it's your first G1, if you beat a champion in the future, you are guaranteed a title shot. So this one, fast and furious from the get-go, not the film, because the latest ones stink. They're proper shit. They are fucking terrible. Anyway, Kid then goes for a suplex over the top rope. They did the spot where you've seen it go wrong so many times. They do the spot where they go, right, suplex over the top. They both then land on their feet, and they're still in the suplex motion. And then they hit a suplex on the floor. They did this, and it was so ultra smooth. New Japan did a replay of it. That's when you know it's good, when New Japan do a fucking replay. That's how you know a spot has gone well. Kid then hit a really brutal, dangerous backdrop. Both go for lariats until Takeshita hits a vile one. Next 3 to 5 minutes of just savagery, forearm and lariats. Gabe with a pile driver for a 2. Got a near fall. Crowd mega into it. Takeshita then applies a chicken wing. Kid passes out. Makes sense. You know, story-wise. I would recommend this. You know, if they were given 10 minutes more, fuck it, 20 minutes more. It didn't feel long, but my gauge and time, I didn't really trust. Simply because I enjoyed it so much. I don't know if it was really short or long, and I just thought the match flew past me. So it is a tricky one. But it's setting up Forbidden Door. They had a brawl after as well. Setting up Forbidden Door for the Global Championship. I think we're going to get Gabe Kidd defending against Konosuke Takeshita, and it's going to be an absolute barn burner. It will be match of the night. Put my money on it. Takeshita's on 2 points. Gabe Kidd on 0. Gabe Kidd will be wrestling IWGP World Champion Zack Sabre Jr. tomorrow in a champion versus champion match, which should be fun. And Takeshita will be wrestling ELP. But really good match. I would recommend that. You know, it was match of the night. Then we had SANADA against Yota Tsuji in A block. Poor guy's having to follow that, but it was the perfect match to put after it. You know, SANADA's basically lost his mind. He's gone through every faction ever made in the span of a couple of years, and he's kind of not. He's just there, you know, and he's coming out. He's got his guitar, and he's got kind of 10 speakers on his jacket, all changing colour. But he was in complete control for about 5 minutes. And then SANADA went for a moonsault off the top, landed on his feet. Tsuji, big spear, 1, 2, 3. That's another former world champion that Tsuji has just knocked off. 2 points. But, you know, it felt like SANADA was doing the Toriyanu role. You know, the comedic. Because obviously you don't want to have 10 matches on the show, all balls to the wall. Obviously there is the first couple of matches were shorter. But you don't want 10 Gabe Kidd Takeshita matches, because it'd be just too much. I mean, I wouldn't be complaining, but if you're in the building, that is a lot. So, you know, if guys are going to get wins over SANADA like that, that's perfect. You know, he's got his role and he's good at it. You know, he's had his run as IWGP World Champion for the next, 19 nights. He's just a sacrificial lamb. More power to him. But Yota Tsuji with a win picks up on 2 points. Then we had Ren Narita in again another shocking outcome here. Ren Narita against Zack Sabre Jr., the IWGP World Champion. So obviously Narita's making the jump from junior heavyweight to heavyweight. So they do that, but they won't do that with Hiromu Takahashi. So Ren Narita's allowed, who's done jack shit. He's just been with the House of Shit. You know, he's a good wrestler, don't get me wrong. I don't hate the guy personally. I'm not angry at him. I'm just angry at the fact that how come he gets to move up from junior heavyweight to heavyweight, yet Hiromu's stuck in that division? Why can't Desperado be given a shot in the G1? You know. So Narita gets, extra work, gets to be in the G1, and Hiromu's not. Who knows? Maybe they both don't want to be involved. Who knows? So obviously this one, Narita's working the House of Torture pace, really slow, really boring. I'm joking. He's working over Zack Sabre Jr.'s leg. What's crazy here is I put very competitive, considering IWGP World Heavyweight Champion against Narita. Um, and then Zack hits a really nice Zack driver. Red Narita obviously distracts Red Shoes because that's what House of Shit do. Low blow. Then hits Hell's Gate off the top. 1, 2, 3. Was not expecting that. Ren Narita just knocked off the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. in the biggest win of his career. Why couldn't that have been Hiromu? You know. Anyway, why couldn't that have been El Desperado? It is what it is. But Narita with a big win. Obviously that means now we're guaranteed Ren Narita to be challenging Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship going forward. The match itself was okay. Going from, again, Gabe Kidd and Takeshita, really fast-paced, hard-hitting, to then the squash match that was SANADA and Yota Tsuji. That one didn't go 5 minutes. To then go to this one, it was kind of 25 minutes of really slow body work. Was a different change. It was a massive change, but it's fine. I like Zack Sabre Jr. I do actually like Ren Narita. I do feel a little bit guilty here of really bashing the poor man. You know, he's done nothing for me to warrant the abuse I'm giving him. I'm not abusing him. I'm abusing the fact that Hiromu and El Desperado aren't in this tournament. I'm probably going to say this fucking 19 times throughout the next month, so I do apologise if you get sick of it. But let me know down below if you think that it's strange that Ren Narita is the one that, you know, gets to do it. Why is Ren Narita in there instead of Ishii? Anyway. So Zack Sabre Jr., the IWGP World Champions, on 0 points, Ren Narita on 2, and Zack will be facing Gabe Kidd tomorrow. Then we have Hiroshi Tanahashi. He went one-on-one with Taichi. This is Tanahashi's final G1. I did put on my notes, rightfully so. And again, I think Tanahashi made a really great decision that it's been his time to kind of step away. And I'm not saying that because I think he's, you know, now a shit wrestler. I don't think that. You know, he's one of the greatest, you know, New Japan wrestlers of all time. But it's kind of like he is at that point now where his big matches and quality of big matches will be few and far between. You know, seeing him come out, you know, you can tell him his legs are hurting him, and you can just tell that he's a man who's, you don't want him to be retire in pain. So at least he has one more year. You know, he has a great run, final G1, final Wrestle Kingdom again if he wins, and that'll be that. And you know, he's president, and he can go and, you know, do his stuff behind the scenes and hopefully make New Japan as successful as it once was. Because we are in a point where, you know, it's, you know, 5-6 years ago, it was the talk of the town, the G1, and it's kind of not as big as it once was. And hopefully we get to the point, you know, where we have killer matches on this show and people are tuning in for the final. So yeah, so I am happy this is his final G1, and obviously I like the fact you get a bit of closure. You know, me and Dion and probably loads of you who have been watching New Japan kind of since Wrestle Kingdom 9. You've seen Tanahashi. You know, there hasn't been, you know, a show or much time where he hasn't been involved in anything. It is what it is. So at least he does get to go out on his own dime. Taichi qualified for this one last week, and this is Tanahashi's 23rd G1 Climax. Isn't that absolutely incredible? And speaking of, you know, changing, 7 to 8 years ago when me and Dion used to do these shows, I personally couldn't stand Taichi. You know, I'd have a tear in my eye of sadness. I felt about Taichi how I feel about Evil now. And you know, no one likes House of Torture, so if you're watching, how I feel about Evil is how I used to feel about Taichi. Not to that extreme, but close to it. And now I love the guy. I was watching this one, and you know, he's the king. I was really hoping that he would pick up the win, and unfortunately he didn't. And even though this was Tanahashi's final G1, the crowd was still split. You know, I would say even potentially louder for Taichi, but then maybe I'm listening to what I want to listen to. Taichi did sell the leg really well after Tanahashi worked over it, even when he like pumped up when he was selling the leg. Taichi then hit a dangerous backdrop off the top. Tanahashi midair counters into a crossbody for a good near fall. Tanahashi then hits a high fly flow off the top for a 2 count, which got a good near fall, and the crowd are then stomping, and then high fly flow got the win. This was a good match, picked up very nicely at the end. Tanahashi there now on 2 points, Taichi on 0. Damn it. Still early days, Taichi still could qualify. Could be quarterfinals, who knows, still time to go. So, good match. Went about, probably say it went 20 minutes, so it didn't overstay its welcome. Some really good leg work and some good selling, like when Taichi started, pumping up, that he does when he rips his trousers off. Go King, rip them off. And then he's, pumping up. It's absolutely spot on. And the selling of his leg was really good. And his selling after the kicking out of the high fly flow is really good. It felt like he's really pulling himself to get back up, and then bam, he gets hit again with another one. That was really good stuff. So overall, a good opening night. Introduced you to a lot of wrestlers. So if this is your first time watching, it's a perfect way to get yourself into New Japan. And if you are deciding, right, I'm gonna make the leap, and I'm gonna get emotionally invested into some Japanese pro wrestling, some pro wrestling. These big tournaments, whether it's Stardom, Marigold, Noah, DDT, where Noah have N1 Victory coming up soon. They're the tournaments that you need to watch, because for example, in this one, you're getting introduced to 20 wrestlers, and you're going to watch 9 matches, of each. And you're going to learn the factions. You're going to learn who's with who. You're going to learn championship belts. So it's a really great way to get yourself invested into a company, into a promotion. Because, I know a lot of people don't watch New Japan anymore. Hopefully you've come back, and hopefully you enjoyed the first night of the G1, because I certainly did, and it's so good to be back. So good to be doing a long form review here. So night 2, obviously big night. I'm looking forward to watching that. I want to thank you if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the like button, drop a comment with your thoughts and opinions on this show. If you do guys have any questions, we could potentially start answering them in shorts. That's called YouTube Shorts. I'm a very technical man. You wouldn't think I'm fucking below 30. And then also I want to thank you if you're listening to this on podcasts. It's available on Spotify, Speaker, Podcast Addict, Amazon. It's available everywhere. So please, if you're listening on whatever platform that is, please leave a review. Follow me on Twitter. My Twitter account is @LKWrestling. I want to thank you for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed night 1 of the G1. Stay safe, stay well. I'll be catching your asses down the road.